House will bounce it over to Estevez. Jamarcus Lawrence will find Traore. Estevez moving across the perimeter. Back to Traore. He's moving inside. Birima Seck gets a piece of it, and he'll swat it back out. Noah Best finds Dion Perry. Michael Rogan's corner three on the way. That one too strong. Off the side iron and taken in by Jaden House.
And Fairfield after that one now one of their last 9 in terms of field goal shooting.
House moving inside. Left lane lay. Brown wanting a goaltend, but it goes in nonetheless. Now it's Noah Best on the other side. His layup and through uncontested. And Fairfield now has double digits. Ryan, a very fast-paced game early on as Jamarcus Lawrence's play is too strong.
Yeah, both teams really amping up. Now is where just about 8 minutes through this first half.
Rogan's pass to Seck, too strong, goes through the fingertips, and a turnover.
And a turnover
in his sophomore season.
And Fuchs only listed at 6'9", but he plays like a 7-footer.
Speaking of 7-footer, they got one on the floor right now. Number 31, Javonte Brown, put on a clinic. Had a double-double of his own against UConn in the Hall of Fame Tip-Off Classic. And that ball bouncing around finally finds itself into the hands of Cam Estevez.
And well defended there from Estevez, too.
Estevez pulls up for 3. Clanks that one off the iron, taken in by Noah Best. Here's Dion Perry. He'll hand that one off to Best. Best gets a screen from Seck. Moves into the post and the 2. The floater, if you will, up and through. And that gets the Sags up to 13. Thomas, contested shot. Braden Sparks trying to fight through the full court press from Rhodey. We'll go with the handoff to Prophet Johnson. And now an off-ball foul. An illegal screen, I believe they're going to in the paint 12-8, but Fairfield's just been inefficient from beyond. 0 for 8 on trays for the evening as Jamarcus Lawrence fights with some contact to find it into the hands of Devontae Brown. And now a blocking foul on Birima Seck. He got way too physical on Sebastian Thomas.
Can you improve on that, and can you capitalize on the mistakes from Fairfield?
He would have done all 3 first try. You might have thrown in a full quarter just for why not. Noah Best, step back 3, and that one misses everything, but an off-ball foul on Jamarcus Lawrence, and his night is over.
Yeah, an unfortunate night for Jamarcus.
And all of them have put up points. Sebastian Thomas moves in, kicks it out. The House thought about a corner 3. Will take a step back instead with some flair, and he'll convert.
Jaden House step back jumper. Are you kidding me?
Prophet Johnson will find Noah Best. We'll see if he decides to answer. He won't get the chance, and it'll be a giveaway, but it'll actually go off of Sebastian Thomas. The air ball and taken in by Traore.
And Javonte Brown's presence brings so much to the paint, so much that URI lacked last year.
And Estevez fouled in the act of shooting. He'll have 2 shots coming up. A complete dedication to their craft, and for Rhode Island, it's showing off tonight with a very dominant performance. All 3 of them failed to fall through the orange metal rim.
Yeah, and taking a look at Fairfield's field goal percentage, 27%. They're approaching 3 minutes without a field goal, 0 of their last 4.
Estevez pumps on the 3, works his way down to the baseline instead, turns around, finds Green. He'll move inside. Brown fights with the contact, puts it off the glass, and through. Brown has double-digit points. Prophet Johnson tries to find Birima Seck. After it gets bobbled, he does regain possession. Jankis' 3 from the top. That one's through.
82, 32 of 39, and 6 for 11 there on 3-point field goals. So safe to say Coach Miller is probably going to be happy with the scoring efficiency.
You don't say. Coach Miller's squad will be back at the Ryan Center on Friday as they host Holy Cross in the second game of this season. Tip-off is right here on ESPN Plus at 7 p.m. if you can't make it. But if you can make it in person, visit GoRody.com for tickets. Birima Seck puts that 2 up and through for his Rhode Island. It's all about slowing it down. Probably at this point trying to experiment with some different roster combinations, just seeing what might click. But 5 different players out in double figures. That is a good benchmark to follow. High aspirations on an alley-oop to Drisa Traore, but it's interrupted by Birima Seck, but he does pick up a foul in the process.
Same size as the rest of the defense, and that, out at the front of your defense, you might be a little bit short there as you get into the latter part of the schedule in the Big East. Perry had it knocked away by Williams. And Williams with the look, the dish, the 3, no good. Georgetown, a very proud and storied basketball program, has been going through a rough patch, and they're hoping that this group of young players grows together, gets them back where they want to be.
It has assembled a nice group of young, talented freshmen and young people. Not a lot of transfers in the program. And being one of the best defenders in the Big East as the season rolls along.
I'll take it one step further. Ed Cooley said he might end up being one of the best defenders I've ever coached. You think about a couple of the players he had at Providence, that's saying something.
This morning he compared them, not by position, but by player to Chris Dunn, and that is saying a whole awful lot.
That is a great, great compliment. Johnson missing on the turnaround. And the ball last touching.
Taking advantage what the defense can give him.
Hoyas can tie or take the lead, and off the missed dunk, here comes Fairfield back the other way.
Really good offensive set, a lot of motion. Obviously wanted to get the dunk for TV, but really good offense that time.
Davey pulled the string, left it.
Sure that they, just as I said before, take their time, have a good pace, but make sure they get the right shot every time.
Mack dumping it down low, and that pass probably was not the one he wanted to throw. Had his man too far underneath the basket to begin with. The pick and roll and a driving shot for Seck.
Really good execution that time on a pick and roll. Weak side on the right side of the floor. Again, the Georgetown help not being there on time.
Here's Burks in the corner. Never caught iron, and Fairfield back the other way, trying to press this 4-point advantage.
Each time that you have a Georgetown player of this high caliber, so you're going to get their best shot.
Good strength inside from the freshman. Keeping the rebound alive, but Sparks comes out of the pack with it for an easy 2.
For the Hoyas.
Just a seasoned player with all kinds of college basketball playing experience.
Highly touted player out of high school. Really good career.
3-point lead for Fairfield. Coming up on 12 minutes into this ball game. As you said, this Fairfield team has 8 returning players. Those 8 returning players all played 25 or more games last year, so these guys have played together. That's going to be a foul call on Halif Noah.
I think what Chris Casey has seen on film is the ability, not just because they've got a lot of freshmen, but in this case, understanding Halif Noah is a guy that they can go after. And so that time it worked for them. He got 2 at the line. As you see there in the replay, he's playing more with his hands.
Chris Casey's been in this game a long time.
Yeah, he's a guy that's coached a lot of games at a lot of levels, been a head coach, an assistant, been in the Big East, but at St. John's as an assistant, head coach.
A lot of games, a lot of wins.
A scissor cut off of the ball. His defender got caught up. Easy layup for Malik Mack.
Sparks was looking for a cutter, nobody there. Now Noah Best from 19. And Georgetown controls the tip rebound. Mack in rhythm, got it, and ties the game at 25.
That's quality. Malik Mack, as you mentioned, the Harvard transfer, Rookie of the Year in the Ivy League, scores at all 3 levels.
Trying to throw in and back out again. Best driving, tried the jump stop, but he's
really good time to take your time and get quality shots.
That's an open three. That would have been a big one.
It was a quality shot. I think, those guys, if you trust Malik Mack, his resume will speak to, then you know that that's something that he can't do and will do.
Bergens just did an amazing job of getting the ball on the inside to Seck. They saved the position.
Yeah, you want to play without your hands. Let your body, your big body athleticism be the best asset you have as a defender.
Might be a byproduct of the aggressive nature of the perimeter defense they're playing right now. That's a nice move to the baseline, and that's why Dion Perry is the scorer he is.
It was made with great confidence. You mentioned did not score a basket last game, but he looked like he knew what he was doing that time with a shot fake, one dribble puller.
On the cut, great play defensively by Bleachmore. And out of the timeout, Fairfield is the aggressor. Those looks were going down for a 6-point ball game. Back up and under, threw it into the bottom of the rim, but got it back. Up on top, the big man, the 7-footer. Highlight Noah nails the three.
Really good possession that time. Made the open three, understanding that the defense was drawn in because of the penetration by Malik Mack.
9-point lead now is Georgetown's biggest.
Georgetown ice in the pick and roll.
Seck forgot the basketball, got it back again. It tickles the rim and falls away. And he tries to make a feed inside. Wow. Then the shot. That was a very active possession for Birima Seck.
This really controlled the defensive glass that time.
Johnson snuck in on the double team through a great pass this second half.
One of the lone starters from last year for Fairfield, so he's got a ton of experience. A guy that does a lot of different things for Fairfield.
Sparks throwing through. Perry can't hit the three. And another rebound, and Seck gets stuffed. Here come the Hoyas.
Good offensive rebound, but block shot by Halif Noah. Understand we got another offensive possession to make something happen for Georgetown as a result of the good defense.
Big man wants another three. That one was short.
He's probably ready to play in only 2 or 3 minute stretches because of the fatigue. You saw that the open three, but short. He didn't have his legs under him that time.
Perry tried the floater and missed everything. Back looking to feed it inside. Every pass is being challenged on both ends of the floor right now.
I was just going to say, Fairfield did a terrific job of their transition defense getting.
scored the first 9 points of the game. John Jay comes in with a record of 2-1. They played New Paltz very tough in their last game on Wednesday. New Paltz was an NCAA tournament team last year at the Division III level.
A team that beat John Jay last year by 48 points. So certainly John Jay is showing improvement.
It's a clean bill of health. He's dealing with an elbow injury. And Kyle Jenkins not available tonight for the Stags again. He's dealing with knee soreness. He's day to day.
Well, Bob, here I am talking about how this Fairfield team is that's a great move by Seck right there. I'm talking about this Fairfield team out making and guarding the three-point shot.
Stags by 15. As you said, Joe, that was a nice move by Seck as Granda misfires on the three. The Stags early in the season are getting some good production out of their big men, one of whom we have yet to see as Bleachmore drains the three, 36-18 Stags. And the big man we have yet to see in this game for Fairfield is the freshman Isaac Munkati. Between Smith and Munkati and Birima Seck, Stags are pretty packed up front, aren't they?
It's a deep team, but I got to give credit to Braden Sparks, who's been very good early in the year because he knows how to play. That last possession, he took the ball as deep as he could, drew the defense, knew that that Bleachmore was behind him, and made the nice assist for three.
Isaac Holmes on the three. Three made threes so far for the Bloodhounds. Bleachmore drives right past Frias. Reverse layup is good.
Yeah, Frias has got it. When you're in the back man of that defense, whether it's man or zone, you got to get down in a stance, especially against a more athletic team that's very good off the dribble. You got to draw the charge or block the or stop the drive. That time, Bleachmore just took the baseline and scored it well.
And a lot of history in that league.
And John Jay, located on the Upper West Side, obviously noted for its criminal justice program. Produced many great student athletes. There's a big time dunk right there. We talked about the transition baskets, Bob. Fairfield getting out and running. Noah Best, the Bronx man, transfer from Fordham, getting out and throwing it down, much to the delight of his family, who's probably sitting right behind us.
The answer at the other end from Jameer Stewart, 66-36. Fairfield cruising along at this point. Prophet Johnson will go to the line to shoot a pair. Mentioned that Johnson earlier had a clear path and mishandled on an attempt, his first attempt to get to 20.
We talked about him as that versatile guy that can do so many things, a lot of little things, and he's certainly going to help this team. Again, I think him and Peyton Smith, you're going to see as two of the guys that are going to lock most of the minutes.
Deion Perry takes the feed from Prophet Johnson. Nicely done on the fast break. The Stags up to 70. That is James Bradbury scoring a couple of points and getting a nice hand from his bench.
And the scouting report says Jameer Stewart can shoot the three. Well, the defense came out on Stewart, and he did a little hesitation and made the scoring pass on the drive.
And Birima Seck set up very nicely, and he scores a couple.
You know, and here's Seck, who we both love. He's a great kid. He plays hard. There's a block, known for his defensive effort. But, Bob, we've seen in practice, he's starting to improve a little bit on the offensive end.
That would be a great boost for the Stags if his offensive game should come into focus, as Deion Perry had a foot on the line. Three, John Jay.
Well, Perry's a scorer, and if he can take that role to a positive coming off the bench, he's going to be deadly, because at the end of the day, he'll play as many minutes as most of the guards that start, but you know him as a scorer. Perry can really put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, Perry actually put up numbers that were so impressive at Loyola, Maryland, that he was a preseason All-Max.
Find out who can play and how they can play. And your first question is, well, you practice in the summer, you practice in the fall, but it's a whole lot different when you play with the lights on against good competition. So he's still figuring out his team. But guess what? I think a lot of teams, and we mentioned earlier with the transfer portal, a lot of teams are still, they are one of the better teams, Bob, shooting teams. They're going to have to try and create some offense from their...
With our graphics, so we will give you that score as we move it along. 24-9, Drexel leads Fairfield. We are approaching 10 minutes to go in the half as Birima Seck soars and scores.
From the strong side wing. Okay, there's the drive. Most, if not all, passes in the paint should be bounce passes. They're harder to deflect. That old-fashioned pick and roll for Fairfield worked, just like Drexel had 2 or 3 offensive opportunities off their pick and roll. But I didn't see who the Fairfield defender was, Bob, but the good weak side help allowed that pass to go astray.
Bad pass by Best, gets knocked in the air by Blakeney, who is doing it at both ends for the Dragons. 24-11 is your score. You got it back on the lower third of your screen. Drexel on top of the Stags. Horace Simmons in the game now for the Dragons. He had a big game against Georgian Court earlier this year. Blakeney, not that time.
Against Temple, if there was an injury involved in that, those lack of minutes, I didn't know about. But he's someone you got to guard because he's proven he can shoot.
Well, Fairfield has a lot of work to do here. If they're going to try and get back in this game, that helps. They're now on a mini run as Noah Best.
But Drake just used his size and strength to get to where he needed to go.
Sparks is tripped. Fairfield continues to struggle from behind the stripe. Drake for Butler. Panov looking to hand off in traffic. Drake gets rid of 2 defenders. Kick out to a wide open Butler. Back rims it and over the back for Hargrove. So
baskets have come on the extra pass. Blakeney 10 points, 5 rebounds.
Field has trailed by as many as 15, down 13 on this possession. Perry off of the bench. Dion Perry, the former Loyola Maryland guard, gives up for Bleachmore. Shot clock is down to 5. Braden Sparks knows it, lets it fly. Stags now 1 for 9 from deep. If that doesn't improve, Joe, Stags aren't going to have much of a chance in this game.
Well, the mix to play double-digit minutes.
Nice reach in by Seck. Nice steal by Steck. Nice crossover by Seck. And a good scoop by Birima Seck to make it a 13-point game. 29-16. Stags down.
Bob, sometimes baskets are worth more than 2 points. Seck, who's a fan favorite, made the defensive play, made a great move. That seems to energize the fans. Let's see if it can energize the Stags themselves.
McGee, who has yet to get going scoring-wise in this game. Hargrove out of control. He turns it over.
Side. All right. There's the steal. Fan favorite, Birima Seck with a Euro step. And everybody liked it. Except the guys in blue.
And Hargrove. 39-30. Stags down by as many as 16. Down by 9. But Drexel gets the ball back after the Bergens foul. Stags much better at the defensive end in the second half. Shot clock down to 8. They force the turnover, the steal, the feed for Bleachmore. The layup is good. And it's
fourth. So they got to create some offense with their defense. Give Casey and his staff credit. They've done that in the first 5 minutes of this half.
Hargrove, baby hook inside, does Drexel in. Dragons 2-2, Stags 2-2. They were beaten by Temple. Here's Blakeney. He had the hot hand early in this game. Hand off to Drake. 10 seconds to shoot. Drake pulls back. Tough shot front rim. But the rebound deflects to Hargrove. Blakeney driving the baseline, and he is fouled. So the foul.
Out of bounds play. There was a screener on the ball side block. Fairfield 20 seconds defensively, which possibly could tire you out. Finish the possession and get the defensive rebound play. You got to finish the play. Finishing the play means boxing out, getting a rebound. Now you got an opportunity maybe to get something quick to add to the momentum. But Drexel is a tough team. We talked about their physicality. They're well coached. They're going to play well in terms of a physical standpoint. They're going to give you everything they got, offensively and defensively.
In South Carolina, guarded by Best. Here's Birima Seck on the floor, guarding the big man, Hargrove. Now Deuce Drake. Shot clock again under 10 for the Dragons. Drake will take matters into his own hands and
Struggles to score. He's got to play because he's a spark plug and he's a natural scorer.
Blakeney defended by Best. Tough shot. Doesn't go down. Who's going to grab the rebound? Is Perry off a deflection. Stags looking to push it. Down 7. This is the closest they've been in a while. As behind the play, Birima Seck took a shot. Now he gets up. And he looks fine. Don't know what happened behind the play, Joe, but he was stunned to the point where he fell on the floor. And it was a 4-on-5 for a while. And now you can see Birima right there saying, I got an elbow. I don't think he liked that elbow.
Well, this whole
look at this, Joe, to see if there is a ill intent and a possible flagrant here. So in the scramble for that rebound, you can see on the previous replay, he took
up. I expect something for Dion Perry, maybe Cape, coming off the single double screen on the baseline. Here he comes off that stagger on the baseline.
Catches it, defended, so can't get up the 3. Oh, yes, he can. Rimmed in and out. Bleachmore, good rebound. The pump fake. He was fouled on the floor. Fouled on the
creating the foul.
When we hit an opportunity, I'll give you some numbers for Dion Perry that will illustrate just how explosive a scorer he can be for the Stags. Perry has the ball right now, turns the corner, floats it up, and floats it.
That's not an easy shot on the baseline. The runner with no background, he knocked it in. Perry's the guy offensively on the perimeter that you have to go to right now every time.
8 points for Perry. Panoff in traffic, got off a tough shot, defended well, rebound deflected and kept by Drexel. Drake spinning out of control, but enough control.
Come up with some big baskets. Has not scored a lot of points this game. That's only his 7th point, but they've been big baskets in the lane.
Prophet Johnson. He's in deep traffic. Gives it for Seck. Runway for Seck, and he hits the shot, and he is fouled. Birima Seck got whacked at the defensive end a few minutes ago. Well, it might have fired him up. Points or more. He has had 3 30-point games. Last year for Loyola, 75 3-pointers made. This guy is pure and simple a scorer. And as he continues to get acclimated to this Fairfield system, Joe, I couldn't agree with you more.
The next guy the ball is going to be passed to. When I was at Pitt, we had a great player, Jerry McCullough. Always used to do that. He would hide behind the receiver, step in and get the pass.
Seck defended well, grabs the rebound. Now the Stags can make this a 3 or maybe even a 2-point game. Almost midway through the half. A 3 in the air. It is good, and we have here in the second half.
Over 17 points per game. That's only his 8, and each one of them has been big.
Oh, nice shot there by Sparks. He just hit that 3. That time a floater in the lane, a 2-pointer to make it a 2-point game again. It's turned into an exciting game here tonight at Mahoney. Didn't look like we were going to have that kind of a game in the first half. Blakeney, Hargrove, the big man, up top. Hands it off for McGee. Drives on Seck, kicks it out. 3-pointer, side rim. Run down by Perry. Has seen playing time throughout this entire second half. He's been on the floor, started the second half. He's been a big part of the comeback. Panoff, a 3. In and out. Prophet Johnson has the rebound. He is the Stags' leading rebounder early in this season, and he went way up for that one.
Bob, sometimes the games are not just one at the end. That's not a good shot by Panoff. Only 8 threes attempted coming into this game.
Stags looking for their first lead as Sparks draws back, kicks out. Bleachmore for the lead.
Offensively, Fairfield's getting some looks that they didn't get in the first half.
So out of the Zach Spiker Drexel timeout, let's see whose number they call. Hargrove working on Bleachmore. There's the double. There's the pass. And there is the scoop lay-in by Panoff. That's a nice play out of the timeout.
Well, it's a great pass by Hargrove. Hargrove with 10 assists. I'm sorry, 10 assists, 3 turnovers. So he has the ability to pass out of the post. A bad job on the weak side of seeing the ball and seeing your man.
Perry. Bleachmore Prophet Johnson, quick three, short. Seck had the rebound in his hands, lost it. Here comes Drexel. Blakeney draws it out. Now the question for the Stags becomes, how much did that comeback take out of them? They need to re-energize.
That's a good call. Let's see how experienced, that's a great pick and roll, this Drexel team is. I talked about being, according to Ken Palm, one of the most inexperienced teams in the NCAA Division I. But let's see if they have the ability to maintain their composure. And as you mentioned, Fairfield's got to make some use of their bench.
Perry a three. It's too long. Who's going to grab the rebound?
So comfortable that you don't feel that you have to work as hard, then yeah, like you're going to end up losing games because you have to have that little discomfort and you have to have that kind of depth on the bench to be able to challenge you, to let you know that, hey, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, this guy's coming in and he's going to take my spot.
Reek fires away again to tie it up after the 3 free throws by Hurley. Reek gets 3 of his own.
Yeah, Coach Casey said, I'm going to give you one chance. And what's happening is he is seizing that chance, that opportunity.
This was a team in Fairfield that was shooting 25% from 3 heading into the game. Shot altered inside. Great defensive hustle there by Birima Seck, who's into the game. To flip the contest at the rim off the shot by Sparks. Catamounts on the move.
I think Fairfield also knows the plan here. They do not want to contest against Vermont's half-court defense if they can test it. And so right now they're trying to get down the floor as quickly as possible before they get set, move the ball so they can shift them, and then see if they can seize any opportunities or holes in the defense.
That's a great point. I mean, this has all the earmarkings of a very fun matchup as the horn goes off.
Testament to those guys who are sitting on the bench right now, are working to try to find some time. All right, the goal is to stay ready so you never have to get ready, because when your name is called, you better step up to the challenge. And right now, Reek is doing that.
Reek's got it here. He wants to pull it again. Bleachmore with the shot clock expiring, can't hit. Rockamore had his hands on the ball, couldn't pull it in. Reek gets a screen. Floater up and no good. Missed the shot for the first time today.
You want to know something, too? That Vermont is kind of trying to get acclimated to this new lineup that Fairfield has. And the reason being is because they're not on a lot of film. I mean, they're on some, but you can't really get to see and gauge what they do. And so now this might be the first time they're ever really getting to see some of these guys in action, especially in the individual situations. Ooh, big boy.
Fiorillo made the bucket, but an offensive foul called. He used the hook.
Yeah, young fella, this is in the 90s. That's Shaq basketball right there. That little chicken wing hook.
Ooh. Okay.
You know it.
Okay.
That is, look at that bad boy. That's Shaq all day. I used to feel it.
Fairfield hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. Three up and in, out of the hands of Braden.
When he gets those opportunities to shoot those high percentage threes, he has the capability of making it.
Into the post for Fiorillo. Left all alone is Long. He knocks down.
What he wants to do out there on the floor, and can handle the ball, really can shoot the three, but also can get downhill.
Reek and Sparks almost running into the ball there. Seck in the low post, working against Fiorillo. Draws air on the shot attempt, saved by the Catamounts. Lefty three, that misses from Long. Best snatches away the rebound. No Prophet Johnson yet for Fairfield. He's the team's leading scorer heading into today. Played 15 minutes yesterday. Cutting to the rim, and the layup is in from Noah. On from the bench, 18 points yesterday.
What a spark plug for Vermont.
I thought he set the table. A lot of energy. And right down low is Sam Alamutu. And Alamutu with the hammer as a blocking foul called on the other. We did not see him yesterday.
You know that guy?
Yes, we do. Former member of the Howard Bison. Former MEAC tournament MVP. Deion Perry, who's into the mix. Tried to squeeze a pass down low to Seck. And
ability to anticipate where the ball is going and get himself a deflection to deter that dunk.
Perry along the baseline with the kick. Open look at a three. That is in. Jamie Lead of one at 15-14. And a steal. Active hands from Fairfield.
See, Fairfield is playing at their pace. Right now, it's been tough for Vermont to keep up.
Inside to Seck. He missed the layup, but got fouled. He'll have two coming up after the timeout. 15-14 lead for Fairfield. Only 63 points per game.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job of defending the ball. They have a great system. You know a team is defensively minded when they're doing shell drill before the game starts and ready to go out there and do the standard.
Two from Birima Seck. Look, an uppercut and a right cross early from Yale.
Yeah, right now you see Fairfield also applying pressure full court and really making Vermont have to work, edge some time off of the shot clock where they have to rush their offense.
Seck denying Odom at the rim to set up a new possession for the Stags. Perry thought about shooting and then gave it up to Michael Rogan. Down to 5 to shoot. Seck along the baseline, and he gets fouled. So Seck taking it to Odom, back to the free throw stripe.
Yeah, Seck did a great job on the defensive end and was rewarded offensively with a one-on-one situation against Shai Odom. And Shai Odom had no choice but to foul there. Yeah. Seck is 6'11" with great feet. I mean, he moves extremely well. Got to watch him in film one time in an open floor situation. Caught the ball right before half court, took 2 dribbles into a long Euro step from almost a free throw line and finished with great touch at the basket.
With that wingspan and that length, he can get to places in a hurry.
It had skinny Giannis vibes.
He gets one out of 2.
I said skinny Giannis. I didn't say
not MVP.
No. We're talking skinny Giannis vibes.
18-14. Fairfield up. Sean Blake into the game, and that ball goes out of bounds. This is a unique situation that you see obviously more often now in college basketball. As Perry trying to shake free, instead they're working around the arc. Perry, top of the arc 3, that's no good, tipped around and taken, but a blocking foul called against Michael Rogan as Odom outside for Hurley. Hurley with a crossover with 5. In between 2 defenders, and he gets the whistle.
We talked about this yesterday. You know, Vermont has played against teams that are extremely fast and have been able to dictate the game and slow it down a little bit, or slow down that team that's fast. But also, playing against Iona dictated the speed, especially in that second half.
And one for Noah Best. And you mentioned the quickness.
And possessions mean everything.
And that ball going between. 7 turnovers committed by the Catamounts. Fairfield good on 6 of their last 8 shots from the field. Just over 90 seconds left to go. First half, 4-point lead for Fairfield.
You can see that Vermont's not getting into their offense comfortably. They started their offensive set 20 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Long, contested three is no good. Reek was there for the rebound, but coughed it up. Hurley. Long with the spin. In the land of the Giants, has to kick it. Three to shoot. Rockamore with one. His runner.
The passes aren't as crisp, and if that pass isn't crisp, delay. And so then you lose your time on that shot clock.
Reek, fadeaway jumper.
Then it gets a little bit more difficult.
Hurley will set up shop with 25 seconds left to go before halftime. About a 4-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Hurley defended by the taller Seck. Gets a screen. Hurley, feed down low. Fiorillo. Iofalia. The kick outside. Has to get tracked down. Alamutu. 5 to shoot. Down to 2. Long. Dirk Nowitzki goes to the Dirk action.
Yeah.
For the bucket.
Kind of, you know, he's not that big, so I'm going to go Luka. Let's give him some Luka action.
Largest lead of the game for Vermont. Bleachmore powering through, missed the shot. Rockamore is there again. He's having a good second half. Iofalia trying to blast through, and he did just that. The offensive foul drawn by Jamie Bergens.
Year after year, and they've done that.
Since he took over in the 2011-12 season, they have 308 wins during that span, which is the most among the New England Division I schools, and that includes 8 straight regular season titles and the last 3 tournament titles in the America East. There's so much the word culture in college basketball now. That's a winning culture.
Yeah, and you know, he's provided a system there that has also been just really good for players as far as learning how to win. And in order to do that, you have to have attention to detail. And you can definitely tell, like when they were doing like shell drill in the warm-ups, I mean, they're paying attention to detail. They're doing the little things that have led to them winning championships and practicing winning habits, even in warm-ups.
Iofalia missing. They're looking to get him on the books here today offensively. He hasn't scored yet. Johnson on the drive, and that's a blocking foul called against the Catamounts. That'll send Johnson to the free throw line as he looks to score for the first time.
Out there and perform and play hard.
Into the corner. Hurley can't hit the 3. Alamutu with a rebound. Too strong off the back of the rim, so he can't break the tie. Fairfield will try to break it on the other end.
Yeah, Alamutu had Perry on him. Felt like he could mouse in the house.
Johnson attacking. Step back jumper off the window and in.
That is tough.
First field goal of the day for Prophet Johnson. 3 double-digit scores thus far for the Catamounts. Fiorillo feeds one of them in Hurley, who has 15. Fiorillo against the much smaller Perry. Fires a pass inside.
Well, Vermont is more opportunistic there. If they have a fast break, they'll take it. But also, if you want to go half court, we can go there.
Long inside, got stripped out of bounds. 2 to shoot now for Vermont.
Down screens, single double screens on the baseline to free him up. We already saw how quick his release is. Give him some space on a set play, and he'll knock it in.
Johnson couldn't get that one to fall down. That
rebounder. He's playing with a lot more confidence offensively, but for him to be effective, he's got to operate in that 15 and in area.
Bergens switched to the left hand, Seck on the rebound, and he'll go to the line to shoot too. And he likes to see FDU. He had 13 against them last year in New Jersey, and that was his career high. And Seck will go to the
muscles a little.
And about average this season, 7 for 13 from the foul stripe. First one is up. Rolls out, and as I mentioned again going into the break there, Joe, Seck had 13, a career high last year down at FDU. That was a resounding win for the Stags. That was the game early in the season where the Stags kind of served notice what they could be.
To do it this year, he's more of a half-court team, and he certainly likes his team, and he's more comfortable coaching this way.
That's a deep three. Barbe, rebound tipped by Rogan, and it is snatched by Prophet Johnson, who leads the Stags in points and in rebounds and in assists. And he almost had his first 2 points of the game right there. Instead, he will try to earn them from the free throw line. From the free throw line, at the other end, Jones, deep on the right side, misfires that time. Here's Johnson up the sideline. Stags dressed in white, trimmed in red. Here is Bergens. Dion Perry. Bottled up, reset. Give and go, pick and roll, executed beautifully, and the Stags have tied the game.
Hey, Bob, Dion Perry has really struggled from the field. But lately, especially against Yale, 4 turnovers, no assists. This game, you can see he's got that point guard mentality where he can make the right pass.
Dion Perry, who has not been able to knock down those threes this season, misses on the long attempt. Barbe. Here is Brown delivering and rolling out. He has not had a friendly rim so far today.
Bob, let me correct myself. I said Yale. Dion Perry in the last game against Vermont, 4 assists, no turnovers.
All even at 17. Johnson. Perry comes off the screen. Another screen, so there's the switch. Perry blowing past Barbe, kicking out for Bergens, driving, putting on the brakes, in and out. Both teams finding the rim unfriendly on the last respective possessions. Here's Brown. You know he's going to get his game going eventually. So that last foul on the floor. New man in the game, Jacob Warren. Big man holding up high, handing it off for Brown, who draws the double team, gets rid of it. Barbe, Emmanuel. Now Brown has the ball poked loose, turned over. Jamie Bergens takes it all the way to the hole and draws the foul hit.
And it's 9.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I talked to Chris about that, Chris Casey. And he said that is part of the Fairfield game plan. Try and inside 8 minutes to go in what has turned into another tight one for the Stags. Dion Perry. Here's Prophet Johnson. Bergens just hit that three for Fairfield. Bergens looking for his shot. Now gives it for Birima Seck in the game. In the lead, hits the 10-footer, and Fairfield has regained the lead after trailing by as many as 11 points.
Bob, I know you'll agree with me. Birima Seck is not an offensive stud, but he certainly has improved this game on the offensive end.
Up and under by Emmanuel. Doesn't go down, but it's run down by Barbe. Another chance for the Knights. They're playing from behind for the first time since early in the second game. Glad to have you along for a good one this afternoon from Mahoney Arena in Fairfield, Connecticut. As the Stags set up again in the zone, they skip it over for Jones. Good three-point shooter. Too hard that time. And who to let
in again? Because again, the matchup is against the big man, Ingram, who's a legitimate 5.
Zion Cruz made 1 out of 2 free throws. Cruz out of Pratt Junior College began his career at DePaul. Here's Noah Best began his career at Fairfield. There's Perry, the former 2 out of Casablanca.
Gesundheit.
I heard you the first time.
Okay.
Thank you, I should have said. Here's Best for Perry, feeling it. 3 in the air is good. Third 3 of this first.
Ball turnovers. That was not a live ball turnovers, but they have a negative assist to turnover ratio on the year. And this Fairfield team is not a lights-out shooting team or a great scoring team. They're going to take advantage when you turn the ball over. Let's see if Fairfield will do that on this possession.
Birima Seck gives up for Bergens, the left-hander, no good, and the rebound yanked down by Tyreek Weeks. That is TJ's brother. Ruben Rodriguez, sophomore at Reading, Pennsylvania, had a great high school career at Reading. That school's all-time leading scorer. And we're talking about some pretty good basketball talent that came through that school, including Danielle Marshall, Lonnie Walker, former NBA player, now playing overseas. Reach in by Bergens, knocked it loose from Cruz, puts up the oxygen ball, and it's caught underneath by Best. Long lead pass for Jenkins, corrals and lays it up, no good, but 2 makes of the season for the free throw line. 21-15, the Stags lead it by 6. Approaching the midway mark of this first half. Good pass inside for Ingram, couldn't finish. Kept alive off the bounce for Rodriguez, could not finish. It goes out of bounds, and it belongs to Fairfield.
Assistant coach was a great head coach. Watch Seck here go up with one hand.
Belongs to Ryder, and the inbound goes to Ingram. Former Wake Forest Demon Deacon. Here's West Ingram. Weeks, a left-hander, with the right hand delivers a layup, and then ends a drought of almost 3 minutes for Ryder. Stags by 4.
Score is score. He can get him from 3. Again, he's been in a little bit of a funk. He's made a 3 tonight, but he can go left, right, and he can score in a lot of different ways. Fairfield's got to play good defense on TJ Weeks.
Curry is letting it fly tonight. That one goes in and out. He has made 3 so far. Jenkins hit a couple of free throws over that stretch, but offense in a little bit of a lull for actually both of these teams right now. And we're going to have a carry, I believe, Joe?
No, they called an offensive foul. Ingram put his head down and somehow hit Seck in the face. I don't know, with an elbow or what.
Oh, I see. That's why they said, let's take a look at it. And that is why, Joe. Now you get a look.
Yeah, you know, Kevin Baggett is screaming for the cylinder rule. Which means that the offensive player, let's look at it, has to be given space. You know, it's a close call. It's a close call.
And you get the final look at that. It was very close, but Birima did not, in their opinion, give him enough room.
And on that last play, I thought Prophet Johnson did a good job of...
Out of the official timeout, Ryder has it. Trying to find a second wind here in the second half. Stags have gone zone. Let's see how Ryder adjusts. So far, it's worked for Fairfield. Shot clock is down to 2. And
yeah, I don't think Ryder was expecting it. It also gives a chance to rest your bodies, if you will. But here's the question: will he stay in it? He had success that possession. Will he stay in it for another 2, 3, 4, 5 possessions? Right now, offense is the key. Look at that pass.
Perry to Birima Seck. He'll go to the line to shoot, too. And, you know, Joe, in this second half, Fairfield's just a step.
Look at this. Most or all of your passes to the paint should be bounce passes. It's easier for your teammate, especially your big man, to catch it. But I did a little game in terms of turning defense into offense. Well, I looked at the last 5 games, and I did not count the loss to Yale, the blowout loss to Yale. But in the 3 wins, the 4 wins and the 1 loss to Drexel, they have scored 91 points off of turnovers to opponents' 30. That's a big advantage.
They have 10 off Ryder turnovers tonight. Stags lead it 59-45. Ball knocked loose underneath, and Seck comes away with it. Another Ryder turnover. The Stags really charged up at the halftime locker room and came out firing away.
Well, we've seen that all year. Give credit to Jenkins with the emphatic block.
Noah Best short on that delivery. Weeks to the blocks. Almost lost his balance there. Zion Cruz arcs up a 3. And in perfect position for the field run. Stops the clock with 10:13 remaining. So still a lot of time for Ryder to try and maybe reach down here and fashion some kind of comeback.
Bob, 8 offensive rebound right there for Ryder. That's now 9 points, looking for 10 on second chance points. Of course, it's a great way to get yourself back into the game, getting to the foul line with the clock stop as you mount your comeback.
Free throw doesn't go down, 59-47. Fairfield leading by 12. Seck sees an opening, goes down the lane, has it blocked underneath by Ingram, but right into the hands of Jenkins. Kyle Jenkins with the putback. Fairfield by 14.
That's 11th offensive rebound for Fairfield. 26. I'm sorry, 8th second chance point for the Stags.
Against a Rider team that has been really good in the rebounding category all season long. Weeks, Ingram, backing down Seck, muscles it up, no good. Second attempt on the putback does go through.
You might see a sub there. Ingram's just manhandling.
And the penalty pretty soon. Seck hands it off for Deion Perry, having his best game as a Stag, 17 tonight. Perry works off of the screen, double teamed, shuffles the pass and throws it away.
Not the right pass. Should have went to the right wing. A bounce pass inside to Seck would have gotten the ball in good position.
Fairfield by a dozen. Still a lot of time to go. Under 9 minutes remaining. One of the challenges, though, for Rider, Joe, as they score here on an Andre Young driving layup, is a lot of teams can get right back into games off of three-pointers, and they do not have a lot of great three-point shooters on this team. As Perry goes coast to coast, lays it through, and he 18 and holding for Deion Perry, by far his best scoring night as a Stag. More importantly for Fairfield, they have the double-digit lead. It's a dozen, 8:20 remaining. West Ingram sets the screen. Cruz takes on top. Ingram flips it off to the corner for Weeks. The left-hander misses the three-pointer. Rebound kept alive by Rider, but couldn't keep it in bounds. And a pass there a lot. Remember the Connecticut 6 Classic? Met 3 times during that tournament. A lot of cross-pollination between these two programs. The athletic director at Fairfield, Paul Schlickman, was the former AD at Central. The athletic director at Central, former member of the sports information staff here at Fairfield, Tom Pincus. And there's more. But right now we have more basketball to keep track of as Prophet Johnson gets knocked to the ground. Crowd is wondering, was there contact?
Connecticut basketball, I think of the late Bill Dietrich, probably the face of Central Connecticut, and of course Howie Dickerman, who had a great run here as a head coach.
Chris Casey served under Howie Dickerman for quite a few years in the early 2000s. The runner does not go down for Devontae Sweatman. The Stags try to retake the lead here. Reek for Perry. He'll take the three. Rims in and out. Three-point shooting continues to be a challenge for Perry. Off of the miss, several tips. Stags secure a defensive rebound. That's one of the keys tonight for Chris Casey. He really wants to see his team do a better job. Defensive rebounding, Joe, he thinks there's been some slippage in that area.
Yeah, no doubt. And you're going to have to play defense on this Central, as I mentioned in my key, for a good amount of the 30 seconds. The last thing you want to do is give up a second shot and have to play defense for another 20, 25 seconds. So defensive rebounding is always a key, but it's very much key in this particular game.
A nice shot there by Birima Seck into the game now for the Stags, who have regained the lead, up by a point. Three-pointer is good by Darren Smith. He's a 3-time NEC Rookie of the Week, and he puts Central on top by 2.
You know, Bob, I say it a lot in the broadcast. If you're a freshman nowadays and you're playing 16 minutes, which he is, you must be pretty darn good, especially with all these transfers and these older guys coming into play. Darren Smith Jr. is a redshirt freshman. He got a chance last year to be around his team, which is big. He's going to be a star in this league.
That three-pointer does not go down for Darren Smith. On the Fairfield possession, Joe, did you see who took the three-pointer for the Stags? That would be Prophet Johnson. And did you see which hand he released it with? And we'll let you know why that's something we're paying attention to, is McQueen Reek was very short on that delivery. Prophet Johnson, as it turns out, and this somehow got past us, was taking his three-pointers this season left-handed. and he's a natural right-hander. He's going back to shooting the threes right-handed, we're told.
Well, I'm glad there's a foul there, because let's talk about how we became aware of this. I'm watching the Mount St. Mary's Fairfield game last night in my office in my house, and I see Prophet Johnson take it. And Bob doubted me. He said, no.
You're confusing him with a couple of the other lefties.
Jamie Bergens.
Yeah.
So he watched it, and we both went, oh my. I immediately got on the phone with a couple of Fairfield assistants and found out the story that Bob just relayed to you guys.
4-point lead now for Central as Joe Ostrowski with the reverse layup. McQueen Reek trying to get it going here. Nice delivery to Seck, and he flushes it through with two hands to make it a 2-point game. So Birima Seck off the bench has 4 fast points.
Yeah, just good offensive basketball. The old-fashioned pick and roll. Central defender tried to get the charge. Was no help on the roll and the dunk.
The big man Jaden Brown going downhill, but too hard on that running layup attempt. Stags down 2. Perry splitting defenders and loses the ball, and it's picked up and taken away. Turnover on Perry. Lead pass for Ostrowski. Waits for everybody to catch up. And running down the lane, catching the pass, misfiring is Brown. Gets his own rebound, misfires again. Who's going to grab it? Kyle Jenkins says, get out of the way, I've got it. And the Stags, again, down 2. Look, the Tire regain the lead. Fairfield comes in with a record of 5-5. They're 3-1 at home. And they're not going to be home again for a while. Matt Curtis on the floor for the Stags has it taken away. Ball is loose. Picked up by Brown. A lot of turnovers early in this game on Fairfield, uncharacteristic. Smith defended well. Kick on top, Brown. Ostrowski to the freshman, James Jones. And Reek bobbled the rebound. Another chance for Central. Official timeout. And Jordan Jones, their leading scorer, driving the blocks, putting on the brakes, throwing it for the freshman Smith, and he hits it. Darren Smith, they set him up beautifully. He breaks the tie.
Yeah, I talked about Jordan Jones being that perimeter guy that gets the ball at the end of the shot clock, or he penetrated. You know, that corner shot was frowned upon many years ago, but now with the 4-out spacing, that's a shot that people practice a lot.
And that's Perry in the second half has 10 points, 10 of his 13.
Thank you.
Max Frazier working on Birima Seck. Good no-look pass for Devontae Sweatman. The big man Frazier showing off. And now this Abdul Momo. Haven't seen as much of him as we might have expected.
Yeah, and he's sitting at the end of the bench, so when you're sitting at the end of the bench with the trainers and the managers, that means probably you're not getting in. I wonder, again, you don't want to speculate, but might be an injury involved there.
Perry, kick out, Bleachmore, fakes right, drives left. One bouncing for Bergens. Perry, they're recognizing him now. They guard him on the line. Now Perry angles out, gives for Seck, 15-footer, front rim, tipped up by Bleachmore, mistimed it. Central has it back. They have the 1-point lead. 8:40 to go. Want a little crazy stat for Central?
Sure.
They have won their last 6 straight games decided by 1 point. As Brown gets free and he puts it through for an easy 2.
Well, I talked about how this is a team which is unusual, even this kind of late in the year. We're about midway. A team that knows who they are. He's not going to be that guy that can make his own 3, but when he gets his feet set, he's strong enough, experienced enough, and balanced enough to make the 3. 43% coming into this ball game.
Smith, the runner, off of the marks. Seck has the rebound. Fairfield has the ball. Again, a chance to regain the lead. Perry double clutching. Tough shot in traffic, and we're going to go the other way. It's going to be a loose ball foul. We have not seen when we come back. 7-4 wins for the first time since the 2018 season, and will be 7-4 through 11 games. which would be their best start in 23 years. They had 20 wins last year, Joe. They were the regular season champions in the NEC and got upset in the postseason by Wagner.
Yeah, they got upset in the semifinal game at home against Wagner. Wagner went on, of course, to win the Northeast Conference and represent that conference in the NCAA tournament.
Jones for the rolling Frazier, guarded by Seck, and got off the shot anyway. Defended well, and he cashed in.
Yeah, for the slight frame, if you will, able to position himself where pretty much he can throw that jump hook lefty or righty.
Fairfield down a couple. 7:05 to go in the second half. Prophet Johnson in traffic ties the game in 50.
Prophet doing what he does well, getting to the basket. I like to call them garbage points, but they're not really, because they're not easy to get. He works hard, uses his right, uses his left, changes speed, and has a great touch around the hoop.
So we are tied again. This is unofficially our fourth tie of the second half. Jones has one rattle in and out. Now Fairfield looks to go on top again with time starting to become an issue. 6.5 remaining in what's been a competitive game tonight in Fairfield. Perry driving the baseline, and Seck dropped it. Bleachmore grabs it. Reset for the Stags as Bleachmore fades back. Tough shot. Goes down. Louis.
Again, you can't stop talking about his contributions, Bleachmore, on the court and now off the court. He's a natural leader and certainly somebody the Stag team looks up to.
Sweatman. Hay double clutching. Runner no good. Frazier, the putback on the second try is good. And Max Frazier right now is dominating the Stags on the glass.
Just really, really long and very active. He's got a quick jumper. Been a big difference for the Blue Devils.
As the three-pointer is put along the sideline.
I think it was Dr. Nemec, the president of the university. He had something to say too.
Fairfield on top. Oh, what a beautiful move by Jordan Jones. Put on the brakes and kissed it home. 1 point game. Perry. Nice balancing act. Here's Prophet Johnson having the shot blocked by Frazier, but there's Seck putting it up, and he has his shot blocked by Jaden Brown.
Bob, you started to say we'll talk about it, the free throw, the lack of free throw shooters. The referee has been consistent in there letting both teams play.
Here's Brown, big man working on Bleachmore, shoots over him and swishes it home.
Step back, kiss McClellan.
We are seeing some individual highlights, aren't we?
Yeah, that was like a Bob McAdoo type shot.
Dating yourself,
Oh,
Joe.
I hear you. Bob who?
Seck. Frazier on him. Spins past Frazier. Got off the shot, but he was in a bad position. Then
was pretty good about the way things went in the non-conference portion of the schedule. As Mead's going to drive in here and pump fake from Etumnu. Now Dorsett into the game for the first time. Here's Becht trying to size up his defender. Gets inside on Bleachmore. Bounce one down to Etumnu, who gathers it, and then just a little bit too strong off the back iron.
Sort of disjointed there. Etumnu did a good job of relocating on Matt Becht's penetration. Unfortunately, John just couldn't finish with the left hand.
Perry running the show for the Stags. Bleachmore, that one ends up rolling over across the court. Back to Perry for three. No good. The rebound is knocked back to Bleachmore. Another offensive chance. Now Seck into the game for the first time, trying to step through. It's a good move, but good recovery defensively, and it will be an inbound underneath the basket.
Again, Fairfield getting what they want. They're getting second opportunities. They're getting the ball down low. Look, I mean, that's right there. That's got to be points. I mean, at the end of the day, just go catch and explode to the rim. You allow that dribble. You allow the defenders to recover. Just catch, go up and score.
Foul called on Etumnu as they were trying to feed it down to Birima Seck. And it will be an inbound coming. Spent 2 years at University of New Mexico to start his career. Senior.
Again, big body off their bench as well, trying to exploit that size down low against the zone.
Also out there for the first time, Michael Rogan. He takes a shot here from the corner, no good on the board. Clark.
Good shoes for Bud, that appears down there, my friend.
Home conference opener, got to break out the new Christmas gifts, I guess. 15 days off between games for the Warriors. Here's Etumnu gathering, and off the glass he goes. Brian Etumnu mentioned he missed last game, had the food poisoning out in Cali, but back out there today.
A good gather there and a good finish, using his length there to sort of find his way around those Fairfield defenders.
Fairfield does find an open three from Sparks up top, can't finish, but Seck comes down with it, and he lays it in through contact. And Birima Seck will have a chance for a three-point play. And you said it a few moments ago, but his offensive rebounding is keeping Fairfield in the game.
I mean, it's really the only thing they're doing well. I mean, they've got 9 offensive rebounds, John, in not yet 11 minutes of real time of basketball. And we talked about, listen, they average better than 13 per game. Chris Casey told us that is something we work on. That's something we preach. We work on that in practice, going to get the ball off of our own misses, and Merrimack energy on that side.
Trying to bring a double on Bud. He's just going to sprint down the floor. Leaves a bevy of shooters open for three. Trumper was the closest. He's off the mark. Checking in at the last whistle for the first time was Kyle Jenkins. 4 years at Lafayette for him. 8th appearance of the season.
He's a really skilled player. I've seen him a handful of times as well. He's not flashy, but he's very steady.
Perry, no-look feed down to Seck. Goes to work on Etumnu. Back out to Rogan. Perry penetrating inside. Wild-looking attempt as he was hanging around midair for a moment. Etumnu came down with the miss.
Perry 0 for 5 thus far. Just can't find it as of yet.
Clark gets in amongst the trees. Can't finish. But the rebound goes off the leg of one of the Stags, so it will stay with the Warriors.
It's frustrating for Fairfield. You got 4 red jerseys underneath. Bud Clark, the only Merrimack player. You get a chance off the glass, grab a defensive rebound, you get a stop, you're going the other way. Instead, you sort of fight for it, fumble it out of bounds. Merrimack retains the possession.
Savage back out on the floor for Dorsett. Trumper goes to work here on Jenkins. Trumper makes a nice move, reverse, off the glass he goes. John Trumper's got 5 here in the first half.
Merrimack's having a lot of success in the paint. They're getting the ball right to the front of the rim, John. Fairfield not displacing them. They've got to find them to get away because of Etumnu and Trumper getting anywhere they want on the floor offensively.
Jenkins sets the screen for Perry. Now it's Seck again. Sparks gets himself stuck. Able to get that ball to Perry. Shot clock down to 1. Got to get it up. And off the window goes Mike.
That one, though, if you're Merrimack, all right, tip your cap, guy made a good shot. That's a good defensive possession. Sometimes guys just make shots. Rogan got a little lucky there with a floater in the paint.
Here's Bud using Etumnu up top. Clark behind the back, working on Perry, and gets hit as he was going up. Elbow jumper right at the free.
And now it's a different beast, man. They've really embraced athletics to take the academic profile of the institution to another level. It's a real success story.
Yeah, and for you and I, have both been calling games here, and obviously you've been involved in a lot of ways over the years, Danny 10, but it's great to see, honestly. It's awesome to see where we started, where I started here, and where we are now.
Even, I mean, our new conference home opener today, right?
Right.
I mean, it's sort of just their second turnover for Merrimack, 2 versus 6 assists. So I think if you're Joe Gallo and the Merrimack staff, you love that assist-to-turnover ratio. And on the flip side, Fairfield just 1 assist thus far. John, they're 0 of 8 from distance here in the first half.
And the nation, both of these teams are okay when it comes to assist-turnover ratio, but Fairfield's been elite this year. It's not been the case so far. Here's Bud all the way. Clark exploding.
Getting all the way to the rim. You say, how does he do it? It's just because he's got such a variety of ways to finish around the rim. I'm not going to say the Kyrie analogy is fair, but his ability to finish for a diminutive player reminds you of a guy like that.
Good feed late there from Jenkins to Seck. And Seck does the rest, and then a takeaway on the inbound from Bergens. And now here's Sparks on the drive, gets in towards Trumper, and he'll be fouled. So a turnover there for the Warriors, and a chance for Fairfield to make up a few of these points here. Here's another look at Bud.
I mean, this is what he does best, and this is what makes him so challenging, because you've got to find a way to Clark. I mean, this Savage's credit for the points, awesome, great to see, but him putting it right where he needs to for Savage just catch right in the shooter's pocket is really elite.
You have a feeling Clark has been eyeing Savage the whole game with the way he's putting the ball in the basket tonight. This time Clark gets stripped. Perry in transition. Good transition defense from the Warriors. Leachmore will bounce one into Perry at the free throw line. Etumnu in front of him. Mead helps as well defensively. Here's Rogan into the painted area. Out to Reek. Reek hop step down to Seck, who gets blocked there late. He actually wasn't still on the line. He just hadn't reestablished himself in bounds and then landed out again after throwing it. Here's Reek, another tough look. This time he does put it in on the mid.
And that's a win for us defensively. We're not going to fall in love with the results. It's the process that gets us there, and that's a good defensive possession for the Warriors. Guys make shots.
That's still an 18-point lead. Merrimack seeing little resistance throughout as Mead will draw the foul.
I'll say this. This team, all right, we still got 12-plus minutes left. Couple of wins in Buffalo. I know, listen, Canisius Niagara, still a difficult trip. 2-0, chance to go Sunday, and there's a lot to be excited about for a team that was picked to finish 6th in the preseason poll, John.
Yeah, they are, I think, putting everybody on notice in these early games. And Mead with a beautiful find of Murray. Took a moment to gather it, but then put it right up and in.
I don't know how Mead got that ball through there.
And then a tip away, but recovered by Rogan. Bleachmore trying to find somewhere to go with it, and it's knocked again by Mead. And Mead, the whole floor in front of him, and the bench was looking for the dunk, but he lays it in off the finger roll.
Yeah, he's going to hear about that. Beckton Savage over there going to give him a hard time. This Fairfield uses the timeout.
Timeout Stags. It is all Warriors. 22-point lead.
His left hand, his right hand, and he would shoot the 3 ball with his left. Well, he's gone away from that. That shot looked good. A little surprised. He just got off the bench that he tried to take it. But if you're a little confused knowing that Prophet Johnson usually shoots that ball lefty from 3, he switched back to be a right-hander.
Winborn sealed off on the wing. Shot clock under 10 for the Gales. Here's Mundi stopping, giving up for Patterson with 1 to shoot, lets it fly, and he didn't beat the buzzer.
You can go way back with this. It's a nice play out of the timeout. You might as well, if you're going to, nice move there. If you're gonna get pressured on every inbound play, you have to have that long threat available, because what it'll do, it'll force Iona to be aware of it, and they'll ease up their pressure, especially on the inbound pass, Bob.
Nice entry there for Patterson.
Reminded of it when my buddy Jeff Rulin walked in the building here. We go way back, and Jeff was a 3-time MAC champion as the coach here for Iona. Certainly was an NBA All-Star, and good to see him back here taking in this game.
They've had a lot of great players at Iona.
100%.
Who would I be talking about when I'm talking about Fairfield?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I do look at that Iona bench, and I see JoJo Wallace. So right away, I'm thinking in my mind, if John Wallace is here, that'd be a heck of a halftime show. Wallace against Rulin, one-on-one.
Here's Perry. Oh, nice drive, and he scoops it through off of the glass. Stags by 4. Quickly to the other end. Iona trying to answer back. Ball slipped out of the hands of Bundy, and then on the loose ball there was a Fairfield foul. Let's see who they got on this one.
I think it was Prophet Johnson. There's the follow-up. There's the foul right there. Good call by the official. You know, if the season here, you kind of know what your team is, and if they're struggling to.
As Sparks with the behind-the-back maneuver and drills home the.
It's Bob, Braden Sparks, and Dion Perry in there, and that'll help their ball handling against this full-court pressure.
Mundi like a truck without brakes down the lane, but couldn't finish. Too hard on the delivery. Here's Perry off of the glass. Too hard. Mundi the rebound. Patterson leaking out, driving hard. Blocked by Birima Seck. Stags have it back. The outlet to Perry, drives and lays it through. Beautiful transition bucket for the Stags. End-to-end action as Mundi loses the handle. Secco at that block. Comes away with the strip to Perry. Beautiful feed for Johnson. Blew the layup. And then Patterson took a shot to the chops as the pace picks up. Winborn.
Bob, a lot of people say Birima Seck's smile just gives this team energy. He made a terrific block, which led to the easy 2.
Three-pointer up, and it is missed by Reeves. Here come the Stags with Sparks crossing into the lane and literally tripped up. Check the Iona foul. Stops the clock with 9:11 to go on this bench. The technical foul was on the player who was called on the personal, Mundi, his second personal foul, and he picks up the technical, and Birima Seck turns it over, gets it back, turns it over again. Zags with their largest lead. 9-point advantage. Under 9 to go here in the first half. Patterson. Jai driving, and he draws the contact. This will be a Fairfield foul. So the fouls are picking up, and when you talk about fouls, Joe, you know how many total fouls there were in Iona's last game?
Talked to Tobin Anderson, who brought in a whole new team. He said, Joe, remember the day when you built relationships with kids you're recruiting and their families? Now you can't do that. You don't know who you're getting, what you're getting. Yeah, you look at film. Yeah, you bring them in for visits. But for the most part, it's a crapshoot.
Stags turned it over on the inbounds. So Iona, with 3:35, a chance maybe to tie this game. Winborn will try to do it, and he does. We're deadlocked at 26 on the second made three of this game by Iona, and Winborn owns it.
Yeah, there's the fifth point for Winborn. He was only 1 for 7 coming in. This is a young man who's missed 11 games because of injuries. He's certainly a welcome addition. You know, anytime you can bring this day and age an extra guard in from injury off the bench, that's huge, because essentially teams are playing with 4 perimeter players.
Good look for Sparks. In and out and back in. Braden Sparks answers the Winborn three, and he gives Fairfield the 29-26 advantage. Michigan, who has seen very limited playing time this season for the Gales, beginning good run here in the first half. Down low for Day Reeves, almost had it turned over. Gets it back, shot clock at 10. Mundi up high, now goes down low on Seck. Double fake, gives it inside for Reeves. Reverse layup is good. Nice job by Mundi on that. Sends Sparks to the line. Braden Sparks, the junior out of Georgia, had 12 points in the game a week ago at Merrimack. And the 1-on-1, he misses the front end. Iona has it back. Down a point, Gales with the ball. Ball gets knocked loose as we are getting close to the 2-minute mark with their road win at Siena, their last time out. Birima Seck, Johnson did not start tonight, off of the bench. He was questionable with an ankle injury, but he has the ball right here with the Stags down 3. Johnson double team, kicks it out for Perry. The fake, the shot, and he knocks down a 3. Deion Perry with the head.
If you can keep your spacing, okay, especially against this Iona team who more or less scrambles full court and half court, if you can keep your spacing, get into the lane and make the proper passes, you're going to get shots open for your teammates, especially on the weak side.
Jai off with the hesitation, off the mark on the banker. Birima Seck the rebound. Perry across midcourt. Perry crossing over down the lane, out of traffic. They swing it around. Bleachmore straightaway 3. Too strong. Rebound tracked down by Perry and then knocked out of bounds. Johnson for Perry, thinking about it. Now bends and whips across court to Bleachmore. Good fake. Here's the 3. Very short off the back rim. Bleachmore, normally a reliable three-point shooter, especially here at home. Not that time. Menard, contact. Let's see what we've got. It's going to be a Fairfield foul. Let's see how they sort this one out. Bleachmore.
Essentially, when he's got his feet set, which he did there, he's usually pretty good, about 48% on the year, but was not able to knock that last one in.
Here's Rupert working on Seck, short, got it back, and then lost it. Now it's on the floor again.
It's an Iona team that shoots less than 30%, so you should be able to find a non-shooter or two from the perimeter, go down and get Rupert before he can make that attempt at the rim.
As we come up on the 12-minute mark of the ball game. Mundi has his pass deflected, run down by Reeves. Mundi with 10 to shoot. Nice bounce pass for Reeves, and he finishes.
Yeah, it looks like Jamie backcourt change. backdoor play, changing speed and direction. Make believe you're coming out to receive it. Change the speed, back cut. Beautiful bounce pass, easy to, well executed by Iona.
Yeah, good point about Reeves. He averages 16 on the season. Had only 6 in the road win at Siena, 4 tonight. Perry the 3. It's good. Tough shot by
face when he wants to put it down. Not a great three-point shooter. You got to play his drive first, contest his perimeter shot second.
A floater by Reeves from the baseline makes it a 4-point game. So the 8-point Fairfield lead has been sliced in half in a hurry. And a lot of time to go, under 9 minutes remaining, as Perry streaks in and kisses it home off of the glass. Dion Perry is having a game tonight. He has 16.
Really quick with the dribble, able to get places quicker than most basketball players can.
And as you said, Joe, this is the kind of game that is right up his alley.
100%.
Jai, angled deep. They extend the defense on him. Rupert gives up to Reeves.
Contest the 3.
2 on Sparks, 5 on the Stags. Jai kicking it out. Patterson the fake, and now the short jumper. 13-team MAC conference, and of course, leads to the most consequential adjustment. 3 teams do not make the MAC tournament this year. Here is Sparks giving it up for Perry, who has 16 points. He's bottled up and again managed to throw it out of bounds off of an Iona player. And Peyton Smith turned it over. Let's see how this works out. Smith's not on the floor now, right now. Birima Seck is in there. Here's Sparks, a 3. A little too long. Bleachmore the rebound. Muscles to the lane. Tosses out for Sparks in the 3. Side rim no good. This time it's Rupert the rebound. The outlet to Reeves.
Out tonight. Expect to have him back in the next couple of weeks here. They really like what he's added to the team. So when he's back healthy, it gives them that really solid 7 to 8 man look.
Yeah, and that's key as you go through a long season. It's 6 man deep and a 7th that plays, single-digit minutes. You're talking if you get some foul trouble later on, you could be in trouble. Little injuries and the nicks and the bangs and the bruises from the season. That extra guy is key.
Turnovers. That was Manhattan's 3rd turnover. And here's Dion Perry, a junior, transfer from Loyola, Maryland, has come on, as has Birima Seck, a University of New Mexico transfer. He'll now go to work. The drive and kick back to Bleachmore. He was hot early. Back off the bench, taking a breather. Long there. Well, nice idea there, trying to fire a pass down low. Jaden Winks's. These guys left, Dave, but they're also making an impact on these, in some cases, high major programs.
Yeah, and you think about it, 24 wins for Fairfield last year in the championship game, and those 3 players making an impact at their new places, and in many of those cases, some high-level programs. But, so you can credit Coach Casey and this squad for coming back. They're right in the thick of things here in the MAC again, and still trying to find their way. Speaking about finding his way, Wes Robinson, a little jump hook along the baseline there.
Pace continues to stay quick in this one, 17-16. Fairfield now. Seesaw battle in the first, under 12 to go. Turn and face chance here for Johnson. And it's all Wes Robinson. Robinson will take it himself. Robinson, step back 3. A little short. If you think about the Jaspers a couple of years ago, they were more of a back-to-the-basket team with some of their bigs. They've really adopted that multi-positional look. Everyone can play seemingly everywhere. Floater from Bergens. Perry steps into a clean 3. And it comes right back to Seck, and that was 2 Jaspers not realizing they were going for the basketball at the same time. Seck the beneficiary, and he's able to draw a trip to the free throw line.
Well, loose ball play. Fairfield the beneficiary. In fact, Seck the beneficiary. I had never, as a player, but as an assistant coach, we played back here in the fall of '96. Fran Fischel was the coach.
Okay.
very good Manhattan teams. We were a very good Monmouth team. We lost in the championship game that year to LIU. And I believe Manhattan might have went on, either won the regular season title or was it maybe the year after they won and played in the NCAA tournament.
Dave Calloway, Greg Meskel here with you. Is that the Richie Parker LIU? The super high scoring Blackbirds?
Charles Jones.
Charles Jones, yes. Good look. Robinson spotted by Elijah Curry, who just came on. Elijah Curry, true freshman from Memphis, played his high school ball in Camden in South Jersey. Here's Johnson. Gets it back and makes it count. Prophet Johnson drills that triple from distance.
And not his strength, not a great three-point shooter, but Johnson hits his first one from downtown, his first points of the night.
Meanwhile, the kick, and Dinkins, a foul down low. It'll stay right here. They'll call it against Seck and Fairfield. Prophet Johnson came into tonight just 5 for 29 from the three-point line, so a big make for him. And you see Seck there, just with the right hand, had a fistful of the jersey of Gilliard. Easy call there for the official.
Yeah, haven't been a lot of foul calls, only really 2 free throws on the night.
Robinson, short, and Seck is there. Here's Johnson now. Halfway through this first half, each team has made a little surge. Fairfield reliant on the three early. That's their 11th triple try. They're now 4 for 11 from beyond the arc. Dinkins can't find the touch, but you know who can. It's Elijah Curry down low, countered and one.
Yeah, and Elijah Curry will play.
So no one's really taking control of this game. We've seen each side make a little push. Fairfield had that good start. Jaspers answered right back with an 8-0 run, and then it's just been back and forth. Here's Bergens. Looking backdoor, Johnson. Good cut to the hoop. How did that not go down? Just rolls off the rim.
Yeah, that's one I think Johnson would like to get back. He would usually finish just a little strong off the backboard.
Here's Bender now. Good drive. Thought he might have been better served to take that one himself. Unselfish, and Fairfield comes up with it. Little drive and kick for Johnson. Can't get the roll there, but Bleachmore's on the scene, and he's into double figures. He's got 10.
Well, the three in transition, Greg, is by far one of the 2 easiest ways to knock down threes. The other thing it does is it allows your big men to get into position for offensive rebounds, and as you just mentioned, easy follow for Bleachmore.
Yeah, he's been aggressive. Already over his scoring average, comes in a little under 8 points per game. He's got 10. That pass off the mark. Now we'll see Michael Rogan, a redshirt sophomore from Saratoga Springs, New York, come on. So this is the contrasting styles, as similar as these teams are. We talked about it with some of their go-to players, some of the numbers. Fairfield will go deeper into that bench. They'll throw more guys at you. Manhattan, we know we're almost certainly going to see roughly 7, maybe 8 guys tonight.
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit. Coach Gallagher kind of knows what his team's about. He has his players. He knows he's going to run with these guys the rest of the season. Coach Casey's still trying to figure it out. And why don't you come back and win this game? And really offensively, it's a fairly even game. Both teams with 9 field goals, both teams with a free throw. The difference is Fairfield has 4 threes and Manhattan only has 2. Hence, two-point lead for Fairfield. Now with that free throw, a 3-point lead.
So here's Seck. Here's Gilliard. And now Sidnor. Shot clock to 5. Sidnor working on Seck. Goes right down the lane with the right and cannot convert as the shot clock was about to expire.
A great take by Sidner, just a little bit better defense. Fairfield's got a chance to build on the 4-point lead.
Bergens now. Transfer from Drexel in Philadelphia. Inside, Bleachmore looking to bang. And goes right to work, finishing with the left. He's been assertive from the jump. 27-21. This is the largest lead of the night for Fairfield at 6. Dinkins working on a double team. Driving. Gilliard has that one stripped, but he's fouled. Swish Gilliard getting the step, but then drawing the foul with 7 on the shot clock.
A quick take, athletic move, able to get into the lane, and we featured himself along with Prophet Johnson as the feature players, and we called them both the typical MAC-type players, 6'3", athletic, can defend, but can shoot the ball a little bit when they get hot. In particular, it could be streaky, but the ability to get to the rim and finish and get to the free throw line and knock down your free throws. It adds up to in the point column, kind of pad your stats a little bit.
Here's Gilliard. Strong on the second. Gallagher has raved about what he has brought to this Jaspers team. He's such a positive guy in general. Makes you feel good about everyone on his team, but really excited about a lot of the guys you see on the court right now. Seck goes up and under. Gilliard takes a spill. Dangerous outlet pass. Here comes Winston. Fairfield does a nice job recovering there. Winston turns that corner. And Seck, he's finding himself involved in a lot of the action here in the first half. Bergens transition 3, well off the mark. Seck there again, another rebound. Under 6 to play. Here's Rogan. Perry breaks free. Not there, so now 4 for 14. They are not one of the leaders in the MAC in three-point percentage coming in. 12th, or they're 10th in three-point percentage. And then 9th.
Getting it done on the defensive side, been able to get some stops. And the turnover, an easy run out there.
Bender now looking for a lane. And able to bury that shot. Shaq Bender steps into a jumper with changes coming on both sides. And he's able to knock down the shot there.
Little injury on the one turnover there late in the second half. Sometimes you wonder as a coach, one throws up an air ball, and the next one a careless turnover. You don't know which one makes you lose your hair. I used to have both of them happen to me. That's why I'm bald.
Johnson. I don't have as good an excuse, Dave. So 39-38, Fairfield. Winston trying to turn that corner, but Sparks is right with him step for step. Sidnor just beyond the reach of Seck, and the Jaspers can regroup. Fairfield had won 2 of 3, then lost last time to Canisius. Step back here, Winston. And Birima Seck called his name quite a bit in the first half, snares his 5th rebound. Sparks left alone. And Gilliard crashing the glass.
Well, we finished the first half with a flurry.
Oh, Bender. There's a flurry to the hoop.
And it felt like the second half here, we were just getting a little slow, but maybe Bender picks things up.
We saw him back on the court. Good sign there to elevate to the basket. And Fairfield picking things up a little bit.
Well, the first half was a little bit of runs early to start the game, and then there at the end of the half as well. This game, second half, a little back and forth.
Bender somehow navigating around Seck, changing to the left to go up and over the 6'11" big man. Bleachmore steps back. And his three-pointer isn't there. He had the good start, had 8 points right out of the gate, has not scored since then. Winston floating, and he'll draw the foul. Free throws on tap for Jaden Winston.
Yeah, Bleachmore had 8 early. Hasn't really scored since. Kyle Jenkins came in for him in the halfway through the first half, and he even dropped 7 of his own. Similar type players.
Sparks. Seck, that's a problem. Easy money for Birima Seck on the dish.
Yeah, it's one of those you pick up a little bit, a little token pressure, a little too much token, a little too much pressure. Easy flush.
Jasper's close to a backcourt there. Sidnor bowling his way to the basket, and a whistle, and Gilliard immediately acknowledges that's on him.
Into the press, and you can dish, and this guy can dunk. Right in your living room. Got a tie, 3 extra threes. Manhattan has 3 extra free throws, hence a tie game.
Here's Jamie Bergens from the Netherlands. Goes to work, and tough shot there. Spin.
We're talking at the break. The first half felt like the game of runs. Fairfield started out with a 5-0 run. Manhattan made an 8-0 run. It was back in some runs throughout the half. Here, it's just been back and forth. Plays being made. There's another tough one by the freshman.
Will Sidnor, no points last time out. That had snapped a run of 9 straight double-figure games for him. Well, he's back. He's got 12 points now and 3 rebounds.
Hey, banked the 3 at the end of the half. There he uses the glass when it gets some body and contact.
Seck into deep, and they'll recirculate. Bleachmore on the drive and draws a foul. That'll go against Wes Robinson. It's another area where Manhattan has to be so good. You talk about not being able to really deal with an injury at this point for Manhattan, but
they got to be able to guard the ball, be able to absorb. Coach Gallagher likes to stay man most of the time. We'll mix it up sometimes. I would imagine if he was in major foul trouble, would probably have to play some zone at times, but really feels like his team's much better playing man.
Bleachmore with his first points since the first half on those free throws, and then a foul on this end, reaching in there. Has brought his infectious energy here to the Bronx. Missed connection there on the backdoor look.
The glass half full, but there's a lot of merit to that. And today's young man sometimes comes into this world at this level, and they're constantly hearing what they want to hear. And at this level, you got to hear what you need to hear. And Coach Gallagher does an excellent job of doing that, but in a positive way to get the most out of his players.
Meanwhile, a little helter-skelter here. Johnson can't make the most of it. That 3 balls off the mark. Offensive rebound. Triple try over here. And that rattles in for Braden Sparks. So a broken play to say the least, and Sparks gives Fairfield a 51-46 lead. Blink and you miss it. They're back up by 5. Robinson right at Seck. That was off target. Johnson pushing ahead. Seck running the floor, spinning with the left. Wild shot. Johnson saves it. Back to Sparks, left alone. Good look there. Another offensive rebound. Seck grabs this one.
Well, Prophet Johnson, known for his scoring, leading scorer for the Stags. Credit him with, he won't get an offensive rebound there, kicking it out twice.
Bergens draws 3 and is stripped. The rip now. Bender full head of steam against Sparks. Bender just finishing there with the right as it dances around the rim and falls in. Sparks drive and kick, but we've got a whistle away from the basketball. Winston and Bergens in a collision. And Winston pleading his case.
Well, I sit here and watch both coaches who I know well, and Fairfield I just talked about, as we see Winston thinking that foul on me. I'm watching the coaches here. Coach Casey, last possession. You got Prophet Johnson all over the place. It creates 2 second opportunities. They get a second opportunity, a third opportunity, end up turning it over and giving an easy layup. And you did everything right except for take care of the ball at the end.
Those are the plays that'll drive coaches wild.
Especially Coach Casey talked about his team. He really likes his team. They work hard. They practice hard. So they give him everything. They don't really give him anything back, any backlash. They just got to start finishing off plays. And I kind of feel like this game is similar to their season when he talks about finishing off plays. This is a game they're right there. They got a 3-point lead. Can they finish this off the next 12 minutes on the road against a very good Manhattan team?
That three-pointer's too strong, and out of the packet, Swish Gilliard. Casey said we've never really had a bad practice from the sense of everyone wanting to be there and participate. Sure, not every shot goes down, but just couldn't say enough good things about this group. It's a new group. You mentioned trying to find leaders on this team. Here's the rip. Bergen stepping into a rhythm 3, and he is too strong, but finishing, boxing out. It's Kyle Jenkins able to hit the transfer from Lafayette.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right, Greg, is stepping up as a leader. Who's going to step up now in this situation to try to finish off this game? You're building up a lead. Manhattan doesn't seem like they'll go away. Can you build on this now and finish off plays, now finish off a game?
Gilliard off target. Plenty of time still in this one, coming up on the 11-minute mark. It's Johnson. Shot clock to 8 as Prophet Johnson goes to work. His opportunity fading. Difficult shot, and Prophet Johnson drills it.
And interesting, too, he's at his best when he can get into the rim. Manhattan's really playing off of him and challenging him to take the perimeter shot. He hit a 3 earlier in the first half, not his strength. There he steps inside. I'm going to get a foul on Prophet Johnson, as we just got done talking about how wonderful he is.
The old announcer jinx. They're happy to let him take that shot. Prophet Johnson knocking it down, but Manhattan drawing the foul on this end. We'll get back to it after the under-12 timeout here in the Bronx. Back to it here. 55-48. Jaspers, the give to Dinkins. Lines up that 3, and then Robinson holding position and drawing a foul.
And that was a baseline out of bounds play set up for that 3. It was right there. Good call by Coach Gallagher there. They just come up empty, but able to get the foul, get a second possession.
Now here's Winston looking into Sidnor. Great ball movement. Ends with a triple. Wes Robinson out of the corner on the kick out after Sidnor flashed free.
Well, earlier, Greg, we talked about the three-pointer so much effective in transition the second time off of offensive rebounds and kickouts. Your shoulders are square. Easy knockdown for the big fella.
Get a violation here against the Jaspers.
Well, the kick out. The big freshman out to Wesley Robinson. He calmly drains it down.
Back to live action and another three-pointer. This time from Dion Perry. Well, credit Fairfield. They have stuck with the three-point game plan and paying off here. Now their 7th make from long range. I should make that their 9th overall. But the Jaspers get one back.
Well, this has been a back-and-forth second half. Fairfield just getting a little bit better than the Jaspers.
Bergens. From behind, they almost had that steal. Instead, back to Bergens now. Shot clock to 2. Bergens out of the corner. Manhattan able to save that. Good hustle there
It's about Coach Gallagher being positive. He will pick that one out and credit the 6-footer.
Under 9 to go, second half. Manhattan back to within 5. They took the lead earlier in this second half. Trying to work their way back once again. Crossover here to the basket and just battling through the defense. It's Sidnor.
At 6'8", that's a really good move. At 6'8" and a freshman, that's a terrific move. He is comfortable with the ball, and he can just flat out play. He can shoot the 3. He can get to the basket. He has a couple of assists. Heck, the banks are even open for this guy on Thursday nights.
He can really do it all. We talked about the run of double-doubles. Had 2 of those before scoreless last game, and now a chance on the break to drop the hammer. He's heating up here in this second half. And it's a 1-point game. So getting some further clarification on that T. Sounds like the refs had just maybe heard enough. Off the screen here. Deep 3 ball. That bank continues to be open, Davis. This end of the court, the ATM machine, the lobby, it's all open if you want to come in and do some banking services.
Yeah, not sure if either one of those will sit there in the first half and if Deion Perry called those banks. But either way, they'll take them.
63-57.
Well, this coming off the 2 made free throws on the technicals. Deion Perry says, let me add to that. Downtown, deep, off the glass.
7:34 to go now in the game. 63-57. Perry cashing in. He's got 13. And is the new high man on offense here for Fairfield. Dinkins, step back 3. Sidnor battling and draws a foul as Seck tried to come back for that basketball.
Well, Manhattan just showing their will there. Some athleticism on top of it kind of helps. In particular, Sidnor with that rebound going up high.
Showing their will, Sidnor. And now after a first half that was light on free throws, both teams now at the bonus. And so into the 1-and-1.
Fairleigh Dickinson went and pulled off the shocker in the NCAA tournament. Last year they got picked off by Wagner. Bottom line is this guy has done a fabulous job taking Merrimack to where they are now, a first-year MAC member.
Yeah, and he's also won 66% of his games in the Northeast 10, the Northeast Conference, and now at Merrimack. So he knows how to win. He's got a great system. An assistant for 10 years. Oh, my goodness. And Fairfield doesn't have an answer right now for that little guy. Bud with 2 Ds is putting on a show here.
He's hit back-to-back threes. He now has 14 points. He has already matched his career high for made threes in the game. And the Warriors right now eating the Stags alive as Jenkins has it in the blocks. Shot hit the backboard. Warriors feeling it, especially this guy, Bud Clark. Jenkins knocks.
Well, with 7 minutes to go in the first half, St. Peter's was up 24-7. Merrimack had 7 points in the first 13 minutes. Now the game switched. In the last 27 minutes, St. Peter's only had 13 points and finished with 37. Merrimack can do that with you defensively and also offensively.
Over the last 25-26 minutes of that game at St. Peter's, Merrimack outscored the Peacocks 41-13. And they have not let up so far here tonight in Fairfield. But the clock is on the Stags' side as they get the ball down 17. That last foul was on Utunu. Birima Seck in for the Stags. Good look for Jenkins, and he is fouled to go to the line. As David Murray in the bench, I should say, off of the bench.
Basket. And if you really want to be hypercritical, if you look at this Murray.
You got 2 point guards on the floor right now for the Warriors. There's one of them, Ed Mead. And there's the other, the fabulous Bud Clark, Philly guy.
Great
to
pass.
The elbow, and a beautiful pass down low for David Murray, 5th-year player. Spent his last 4 years playing at Conn College up in New London. Seck throws it out against Bergens. When we talk about Clark, who can score, he's the second leading scorer in the MAC, but as a facilitator, as Seck swoops in and lays it through, his ability to set people up is extraordinary.
Well, he's dangerous with the ball in his hands, and he's had it in his hand pretty much the whole possession, every possession. He's got great peripheral vision. He knows how to pass. It's a chest pass. It's a bounce pass. It's a one-hand pass. He gets the ball to his teammates at the right time in the right place.
Armandas Plantauskas is on the floor for the Warriors. Clark is up for Murray with 3 on the shot clock. 2-1. Murray has his shot blocked by Jenkins. The shot clock buzzer went off, so the Stags get it back. And that'll bring us to another timeout. Stags trying to exhale here and get a second win and see if they can begin chipping away here. 7:21 to go in this first half.
The problem is 1 for 17 from 3. Ugh.
Jenkins has the ball in the paint, working on Murray. Good move by Kyle Jenkins as he scoops it through, and the Stags are within 13.
Kyle Jenkins, you know, Fairfield had a 3-headed monster at the 5 with Mancotti, the freshman, with Seck, with Smith, but the most effective post player in Manhattan was Jenkins in that last game. Look to Fairfield to go more in the post to him.
Not that time for Savage, and a loose ball foul is going to be called.
Impressive. Now that token three-quarter court press is not a trapping press, it's a token press. It's basically to slow you down so they only have to defend about 23 seconds on the half-court defensive end.
Perry taking and making
points a game, and on the road he's about 5.5, but he's a weapon, especially could be in this game.
7-0 run for the Stags, and maybe they could continue following this Clark miss. Perry feeling it. That one too strong. Long rebound. Right out to Bergens. The 3. Aaron mailed it. Caught by Seck. Perry thought about it. Thinks otherwise. Under 6 to go in the first half. Bounce past Bergens. Outside Rogan. 3. No good. He had a good look. Kind of shot. It'll often go down for him. Clark. Trumper. Good dish inside, and Atunu puts it through.
Thank God it's not Sunday. It's not Sunday, right? No, it's Saturday night. Anyway, Clark getting a rest here. The kid never comes out. I don't think I've ever seen a more dominant performance. I may be exaggerating. There's been a lot of players in this conference in the backcourt have done it, but my man controls the whole game on both ends.
High pass, and it's taken away. Sloppy turnover on Fairfield. They can't afford any of those at this point during an attempted comeback. 12-20 to go in this game. Stags down 19. They trail by as many as 29 in the second half. Ed Mead elbow jumper is good. He got plenty of space.
But I'm going to get to a point in the middle, Bob, in a minute. I'll let you do your thing right here.
Exactly 12 minutes to go. As Bergens is walled off, and he threw it away. Another turnover. Ed Mead to steal, and he is fouled. There'll be a foul on Rogan. That'll bring us to a timeout.
Point. So many teams have been hurt by the transfer portal and the money, the NIL money. This Merrimack team returns 3 of 5 starters, plus Ed Mead, again, who knows the system. So the advantage, any team that can bring starters back. We talked about that Central team that came in here and beat Fairfield by 1. There's a bomb. Had 4 players returning, 4 players that have played 4 years in the Central system.
Ed Mead was a foul on the aforementioned Ed Mead, his second. 11.5 to go as the pass goes inside for Bergens. He's bottled up. Here's Seck. Left-handed banker is good.
So it wasn't a high-low, but it was a dribble penetration that brought Brian Atumnu, Merrimack center, with him. The other side of the lane, you had a mismatch with Seck on the 6'4" Devin Savage. Finished it with his left hand. It's an excellent possession by Fairfield. Gotta get some stops. That's an illegal screen. I'm sorry, I'm speaking out loud.
Shot clock is down to 8. Into the corner it goes, and Savage can't find the range that time on the 3. Here is Perry into the front court. Fairfield down 20. They've trailed by as many as 29. Rogan, good look. Bergen's open three, not there. And then over the top on Bleachmore. To 2,300 on hand.
That's an illegal screen. You can't stick your left arm out, especially on a 5'8" kid, and interfere with their progress going laterally, especially towards the ball. Now, look, I sound like a whiner. I'm not a homer.